Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video, and today we're here to talk about another game I completed that I really enjoyed, and that game is Misao, the definitive edition for the PC via the Steam platform. Misao is yet another indie Japanese horror adventure type of game with a top-down view made with the Wolf RPG engine that was originally released around 2011 by Japanese developer Sen of Mad Father fame, which is another game that I reviewed recently for Halloween month on my channel. So make sure you check that video out because that's another game that I really enjoyed. Misao was later re-released for Steam in 2017 as a definitive version with improved graphics and improved gameplay. So that's the version that I play for this impressions video. Now the cool thing about having played both Misao and Mad Father is that there are loose references between the two games. It's nothing major or critical that will force you to play both games, but it's definitely a nice nod from the developer to players that enjoy these types of games, and I guess it's a bonus if you play both. So if you're remotely interested in playing any of these games, I'd highly recommend playing Mad Father first and then playing Misao to have a better appreciation at those loose cross references. Even though the release date order is the opposite, I believe Misao was released first and then Mad Father was released after that game, but make sure you play Mad Father first and then Misao if you're interested in seeing some of these cross references. Now for the story, Misao takes place in a Japanese high school and involves a cast of students that cover a wide range of cliche but much, I guess, expected types of personalities. You have the the jocks, you have the bully, the pretty girl, the emo guy, the nerd, etc. So a very interesting array of different personalities that are shown in this game. The game starts with giving the player the option to use a male or female protagonist with the canon name called as Aki, whether you choose to go with the male or female version. As far as I'm concerned, there are no major consequences regarding what gender you choose at the start of the game. Only very minor things for the ending, like cinematic sequences of the game. And I did play this game to completion, meaning that I played a male, I guess, run of the game and also a female run. And again, the differences are not major, so take that for what it is. The story focuses around Misao, which is a very shy female student that unfortunately was the victim of extensive bullying through her school years. And in this particular game, she has disappeared for a couple months when the game starts. So one day during classes, all of a sudden a curse is applied to the high school by what it appears to be the troubled soul of Misao. So it's up to the protagonist Aki to find out exactly what happened and how to dispel the curse bestowed upon the school and the fellow classmates. The curse is very interesting since it involves having the school in a almost separate dimension. That's kind of like the setting. The curse sends the school setting to like a separate alternate dimension with paranormal settings that are causing horrific deaths to the students of the high school. As the story progresses, you will learn more about the compassionate nature of the protagonist Aki, who in turn is actually trying to help Misao and get closer to her as a friend. So very enjoyable story overall. Nothing major. It's a low-budget indie horror game, but I thought the story was very appropriate and I enjoyed it all the way to completion. Now for the graphics, graphically I knew exactly what to expect for this game, since it's yet another RPG Maker type of game. It's not really an RPG Maker, it's made using the Wolf RPG engine, but the RPG Maker is kind of like its own genre these days. So it's that type of game with a top-down view, showcasing 2D sprites, very much like Mad Father. The art style is appropriate, and the atmosphere for the high school setting is very well done, creating this eerie horror vibe with the occasional blood stains that are spattered across the hallways and the rooms of the school setting. The art for the characters is also very well done, considering this is a low budget game. And it goes without saying, but this is a game that has a very gory graphic nature. Even though the game is cartoonish, it's sprite based. The game does have a very gory nature, so just be aware of that. Regarding the sound, there is no voice acting in this game, and the soundtrack did not stand out for me like it did in Mad Father, which had some really nice, subtle piano pieces. This game, Misao, does have a pretty good sound effects that amplify the horror elements and sections in the game, so that was pretty much appreciated from my end. Now, focusing on the gameplay, as mentioned previously, this is a top-down game, and gameplay is very similar to Mad Father in the sense that you will be basically solving puzzles, hiding and or escaping from threats, all while exploring, in this case, a high school setting. I guess you will be backtracking fairly often in this game between the different rooms and floors of the school to get items that are necessary to solve puzzles. So you may find an item on the first floor, and you may have to backtrack to the third floor and kind of remember what items you need in order to progress the game. One of the key features of this game that I found myself using a lot is the quick save feature, since this game offers a ton of ways to die. In fact, the game somewhat encourages you to see all these death scenes by keeping track of all the different ways to die in the game in a journal type of menu. So a pro tip is when playing this game, quick save a lot before you enter a room, after completing a new puzzle, before you explore a new area, etc. Because you're gonna find yourself dying in this game a lot. And it's kind of funny to see the different ways to die in this game. They offer a wide range of different ways to die. So make sure you explore those as you play the game. Now, I personally enjoy the variety of personalities in the cast of the game. While it may be cliche, these different traits added more character to the game and helped convey the past interactions of the students with Misao, given a better understanding on how she left and the motives behind her placing the curse on the school. The game is not very long, and it works great actually, since it doesn't overstay its welcome. And you can beat the game in about 3 hours, and there are multiple endings as well. There's also an additional kind of like prologue section of the game called The Truth that further expands the story and the lore of the games. And it's a must play in my opinion. The game also encourages a replay by using either the male or female protagonist that you didn't pick on your first run. And this is in order to get all the achievements, but again, as I mentioned, the ending cinematic sequence, it's slightly different, so and the game is not very long, so I do encourage you guys to play it both as a male and female, even though the differences are not major. There are no major consequences, basically. As you complete the game and get the good ending and the truth scenario complete, you can see the silhouette in the title screen of Misao change, which is a very cool touch in my opinion. Something similar was done with Mad Father as well in the title screen. So I guess overall I highly recommend this game as well as Mad Father. Both games are dirt cheap on Steam, and they go on sale occasionally. So they're fairly short. but at the same time they have a very interesting story and are solid enough. There are solid enough gameplay elements to warrant a playthrough if you are into these indie horror adventure games. And there's a good reason why both Mad Father and Misao are kind of like among the top favorite games for fans of that genre of RPG maker type of indie horror games. These are two very solid options and a good starting point if you're looking into getting into those types of games. So with that being said, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.